Hello. Good morning. Let me just quickly put something on Discord, I guess. I don't really post much there, but I do want to do that one day. Basically just an announcement, but I don't ping anybody anymore because I think that's annoying. Okay, so shall we have a look? Okay, let me just make my yo, Damon. Sorry, man. Let me just open up my chat. I never open chat. How are you doing today? Those are some weird looking faces you're making there. What the hell? Are you smiling? Is that why you have wide open eyes and a row of teeth? I think that's a smile. Okay. Let's see. What did we do? Well, yesterday was quite a long day, and we did quite a bit. Poop emoji. Yes, indeed. Indeed. I did do that yesterday. Okay. So this cargo transfer thing is almost complete. It is essentially complete. There's just a couple of things that I feel like I need to do still. What is happening? Is my keyboard busted? Half of my keys aren't... Oh no. Okay. This might be a very short stream then. Help. My keyboard. Oh, jeez. Oh no, sticky keys. Okay, well, this is a problem. Okay. Yeah, my backspace and enter weren't working. Okay, now they're working. Well, let's see how long this lasts. Okay. So we did most of this yesterday. Now there's a couple of things I want to just do, which shouldn't take too long. Okay, so change max allowed transfer to be amount in storage. Okay, that's one thing I want to do. So basically that you can't set it to transfer more than you can actually store. Disable zoom when storage is open, and I also want to do when both try to transfer, I essentially want to 0 first participant. Something like that. So basically, if you've clicked here, bam, 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 and it's like 500, and you click plus here, it's going to automatically think that, okay, this is what you want to do, so it's going to take this one instead and not this one. Is that, could that be annoying? Yeah, so something like this, you go la 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 la, and then you go whoopsie, or you click there, and then it's which one are you trying to transfer really? So either it'll have to not allow you to transfer the side until you've zeroed this one, or as soon as you click here, it zeroes this one automatically. I think it's not allowing you to click on the other one, because if you accidentally click somewhere and it just zeroes it for you, that kind of feels bad. Yeah. It's not the end of the world, but it's also not good. I don't think so. Anyway. Let's figure this out. Okay. So, our cargo transfer row is right here. This is where all our buttons and things are. So, amount to send on value change happens here. Okay. So, essentially, we have a couple of more if statements that we have to go through. Okay, this kind of means we need some information when this thing is created. Yeah, it means a couple of things, to be honest. The first thing it means is we potentially have the storage could change, right? So if you think about it, while that window is open, you could have something happen and the storage is actually changing, right? Because it doesn't pause the game. But maybe it should, now that I think about it, because if it changes in the background while you are trying to initiate the transfer, that's kind of annoying. So maybe it just pauses the game for a minute so that you have some time to do a proper job of transferring the resources. Because if it keeps changing, these numbers are I'm gonna have to update all of these things all the time. So for instance, let's say you put 500, but then it goes down to 499, right? Then I'd have to change the allocation on the fly to match the amount that went down. If it went up, it doesn't really matter, but going down could be a problem. And things can go down for many reasons, right? Like you might be, a ship might come in and you have to refuel it, right? So then your fuel goes down. Okay, so if I take this transfer participant and I connect it to, let's say, a structure, or at least a storage, then theoretically I could have it somehow change on the fly. Right, because it'll have the information available. Okay, let's just try that for now, and then I can always make it pause later if I feel like it. Okay, so cargo transfer row, then in other... Okay, so now we have a couple of things that have to happen here. So we might have to, instead of sending 2 cargo amounts, which, you know, we can still do, but potentially we have to send more than that. We might also have to, or we work through the view model, which already has the 2 structures. Now maybe we connect these and then we just keep sending the updates. Yeah, so we have this set cargo amount. We could essentially just be calling that all the time. Update. So we could do something like public void update cargo amounts. Right. And then we could just get the 2 strings if we want to keep this thing as simple as possible. And then we could just do this, you know, to update the cargo amount live. So we'll do that on a tick storage change, for instance, event. So we have that event available, so we could do that. Okay, now the other problem is going back. So changing this value. If you go over the amount of cargo, it should do something about it, right? Okay, so maybe... If I update the cargo amount with an integer, I could just compare it straight to the integer. If I update the cargo amounts with the strings, I can't really do that. So let's do it with an integer instead, because I need that information for some additional things. Right, so here we get set participants, and then yeah, that's just the names. String cargo 1, cargo 2. Add a row. Okay, so we're gonna add a row, not with that, but an integer. Cargo amount 1 and okay, and then initializing this thing needs to be happening with a string as well. Not a string. Integer. Okay, we can just call, perhaps we could just call here update cargo amounts, and this will also just be done with an integer. Okay, then set cargo amount. We'll do an integer amount. And now what I'll do is I'll keep track of this. Private int cargo amount. Just cargo amount like that. Okay, no. Let's call this the label, cargo amount label. And this is our actual cargo amount. So our cargo amount is equal to amount, and our cargo amount label is equal to number formatter dot format amount. Okay, so that should be fine now. So instead of doing this, okay, we just added like that. Now, okay, so now we have the actual integer value inside of our row. Okay, and now what we can do, for instance, is we can look at these two participants and we can do something like participant1.storage.on storage changed. Okay. This gives me the entire dictionary. Uh-huh. Okay, so the question is, how do I pass that in? So what I could do, you see, this is gonna happen it's gonna happen quite frequently, to be honest. The storage can change for many reasons. Be kind of nice if I didn't have to track it like that. If I could just somehow get, yeah, it's not going to be that easy. I can't just access a specific item storage. Okay, we can do let's see, public void update label rows, right? Okay, let's see. Okay, so one of these rows, Okay, so we can check which resource it's doing, and then we can update the cargo amounts. Yeah, I suppose we just get a reference to this whole dictionary. And okay, this doesn't actually tell us which participant to add or update. Hi, Anna. Yo, that man Robin. Hey, man, you got an eye surgery. Wow, that's not something you hear about every day. Why are you getting eye surgeries? 7 of them. Oh man, that sounds horrible. Okay, this is an interesting problem. Okay, so if any of the storages change, we can do an on storage change. Could just call set transferable resources again every time, but that. You see, we want to update transferable resources, actually. Oh, geez, you... Both your retinas tore and detached. Oh man, that sounds terrible. That sounds horrible. I guess for you it's maybe just another day, right? But damn, I can't even imagine, man. Shit. Why did they tear? Like, were you in an accident or something? That, you know, massive trauma? Because that shouldn't just happen, eh? Okay. Could have been hereditary. Oh, okay. So that's just kind of a thing. I guess if it was the good old days, right? Medieval times, you'd probably just be blind and people will know you as the blind guy. And that's just how your life is, right? Especially if it was hereditary. But at least it's... Yeah, I guess say that's a good way of thinking about it. It happened, it's what it is. It's tough. Life's hard, right? Yes, I really want this thing to not change all the resources, but only some of them. But like that would mean if I do add resources, I should change the way this works. Because currently it invokes and it just sends you the whole ass dictionary of resources. Instead, what it might do is it just tells you which resource changed. So let's try just adding another event now. So we do an event with a string int on a resource. So we just do one resource instead. Just the way in a day in the life, eh? Yeah, I guess so, hey. A lot of people get dealt quite bad cards in life, but you make do. Okay, so let's see. So if we do on resource change, what I could do here is on resource storage changed, I could invoke, and what I do this time is I give the ID and I guess I give the new amount, right? So I do resources ID like that. I could even just tell you which resource changed. That could also be fine. Okay, let's propagate this through. Remove resources. Okay, so we do that there. Add complete storage. Yeah, we should just check where this one was being called. Okay, empty storage. Not empty storage. Don't actually do that ever. But I guess I could put it there. Okay. So that feels a little bit better to me. So now what we can do is instead of this nonsense, we can do on resource storage changed plus equals. Okay, so this is going to be participant 1. Okay, then we do the same thing for participant 2. There we go. So now it's a little bit cleaner. So participant 1 and 2. Okay, and then instead of doing that nonsense, okay, we can do public void update table row. I think I just literally did the same thing. Okay, but we update the table row, and what we want. So we want a string resource and int amount. Right, and we also want int participant on this side. Okay, and then we can check. Okay, so currently we have list of cargo transfer rows. So we can do cargo transfer rows. Okay, wait. How often do I use unique IDs? I guess quite a lot. So currently, if I had to show you, let me show you. So in my game data, right, which is just no, I don't use GUID.generate. So by unique IDs, what I do, and since the game is quite data heavy, like I have a lot of resources and recipes and stuff, I keep this spreadsheet with but obviously now I basically made it so that I work with strings all the way through. So my unique IDs are strings throughout the whole game. I tried doing it with enums at the start, right? I tried doing that, but it fell apart at some point. It also poses some potential risk in the future for if I want to update something or add a material, I have to do the whole flipping thing. So yeah, no, I don't use the GUIDs. The only place I use that, I think, is when I import my CSV. So I check for specific scriptable objects. If I can find them, I'd use them for whatever I need. But that's, or I create them, and I think that's where I use my GUIDs. I don't know. I'm not sure what it is actually using, but if you look, let's see, CSV something else, CSV to scriptable object. I guess this is getting me, yeah. So it's GUID to asset path, right? And how do I get this again? Yeah, asset database, find assets. So it finds all these assets. Then I change them a little bit. I'll make a list. I don't, to be honest, I'm not even sure what this does exactly, because I just Googled this or something. I mean, I kind of see what it's doing. It's kind of using the GUI to generate an asset path, or to get the path to the asset. Then it loads the asset, puts it in a list, I guess. Yeah. I just wanted to get a list of all the scriptable objects or something like that I have available. And this is what I did. Okay. Okay, let's see if we can figure this out. So, update table row. So we know the resource, we know the amount, and we can know the participant. Right, so what we need to do now is we need to go... Okay, so cargo transfer rows. This might have to become a dictionary if I want to easily access these, right? So if I do a dictionary, string cargo transfer row, the reason is I just want to have this easily accessible. So if I use my string, it should work a little bit better. So here we can do dot values. Now we go through the list of values. Okay, let's see, where else do I use this? I guess clearing it is fine, and now creating it. Okay, so we need to add a key, which is definition so.id, and a row. Okay. And that way what we can do is when we update table row, we can go find the okay, so if cargo transfer rows dot contains key resource. Okay, so we can just check that first. No, we grab. Oh my word. You grab the resource. Okay, now we got the row. Now the question is, what do we do with it? Okay, we can do update cargo amounts. This updates both at the same time. Interesting. Maybe we shouldn't do it this way. Maybe we should do participant 1 and participant 2 separately. Because otherwise, like, this isn't gonna fire for both, and I'm only gonna have one of the two at that moment. I can obviously get the other one at any point. Regardless of which one fires, I can just get the actual amount. Yeah, I could do participant 1.storage get resource amount or whatever. So I could do this with my resource. If any one of them changes. Do I want to do that? I don't feel like I do. So what I could do here is I could do just cargo amount. And participant. And then I could do something like... Let's copy this. Put it here. Oh. Okay. If... participant... is equal to 1, right? That's just participant 1. I didn't do enums here. Yeah, I wanted to do that at some point, but now I can just get participant 1 dot update or set cargo amount, right? We can just do that. Else if participant is 2, we just do same thing but with participant 2. Okay, so that'll keep that number updated nicely, and all I have to do now over here, I have to send that through a few things. So update cargo amounts. We need the amount and the participant. Okay, now here's another one. Else, so if we don't actually have the resource, but the amount has updated, what we could do we could create a new one. So something like this, right? Add table row. So actually, yeah, we could just do... Okay, so we don't have the resource, but the if, we could just do if amount greater than 0. You could do add table Okay, now we need a definition. I guess we could just do game data. Definition SOs, resource amount and participant. Oh, okay, wait. I see the problem now. Yeah, I don't actually know which participant this is. Okay, so we now have to go here, private void. Nope. Add one row. And what we'll need here is string resource. Or try add one row, maybe. No, we can do add one row, I guess. It's fine. Okay, and amount. We don't actually need the amount. Yeah, we could just do view model dot add, try add one row, and we could just give it the resource, right? And it can just call view dot now this seems a little weird, but the problem is this amount, the amount that you need to add a row, is all in here somewhere, right? So we actually have to do this type of thing. Yeah. So we have to get the two cargoes. We have to check. I guess I could just do this, right? So try add one row. Cargo 1 and cargo 2 needs to be greater than 0, and then we can do add table. And we can effectively just do this now. Set transferable resources, we try add one row, boom, and then also here we do the same thing. If we notice that, okay, there is some amount here, we can do the same thing. That should be fine. So update table row, this then needs to happen over here. Update, this is going to be view.update. Oh, that's not update, that's update. Wait. Udate. I just forgot the P. Update, okay. Okay, so we need the string. So arg1. We need the amount, arg2. And we need to know the participant ID. This is participant 1. And this would be participant 2. Okay, so we either just update the cargo amount or we add a row. Yeah, so this is basically when we get some resource and we notice we actually haven't made a row. And we try add one row, this will call add table row, which would do it proper. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay, so now this was all just in an effort to get the data, this cargo amount, in here, so we can actually check. Okay, so we get the value changed, right? Yeah. On value changed. So what we need to do now is we need to check, okay, not just whether the value is greater than 0, but actually we need to check a few things. We need to check if when we set a value, can we set a value? As in, do we have enough amount, right? Okay, so I'm just going to look at my integer field with buttons here. Okay, so we have this increase, decrease, change value, get value. Okay, essentially the max amount and the minimum amount would have to change. Okay, so when I created this, I just made the maximum amount that. Yeah, essentially what we'd have to do is we'd have to set the value without notifying. From here. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to do if amount is greater than cargo amount. We basically want to go and do amount to send equals, well, no, amount to send dot change set value without notify, and we change it back to a cargo amount. Okay, so that's effectively the first thing we do. So whenever we get a change for value, we can compare it to the amount of cargo we have and just tell it, listen, that won't work for us. Right. Okay, now the next thing we can do is if we get a cargo amount, right? Every time we get a cargo amount, we can check if the amount to send, right? I think it's just get value. Okay, so if this is greater than our cargo amount, okay, so this is in the case where our cargo amount actually goes down, and then our amount to send is for some reason now bigger than our cargo amount, right? So that's what we do there. So we can change it now on the fly. Okay, so that's good. So that at least changes the maximum a little bit more dynamically, so we don't just try to send more than what we can. Okay, so I've effectively done this now. So this ensures we don't send more or we don't try to send more than we have. Right, so that's that and that. Okay. Then if amount, okay, if amount is greater than 0, I guess I should check this as well. Yeah, what I can do here is I can do amount to send on value to change. I could just call this function. And what I could give it is my can't give it my new cargo amount. This won't work. Yeah, no, this is backwards. Oh wait, no wait, I can. Yeah, no, I can do something like this. So I can do amount to send on value changed. I could just do this get value, right? So it might not actually have changed, but essentially we are going to evaluate the amount. Yeah. We are evaluating the actual amount. Yes. Against yeah. Okay, so that's fine. Okay, now there's one more thing that I have to do. When you change this value, right, if the value is greater than or equal to 0, well, no, it's greater than 0, right? What we need to do, what I want you to do, is first of all check whether or not the other participant has potentially tried is also trying to send something. So participant, whatever, the other one. Okay, so that would mean we would need to have information from the other participant. So what I could do is public transfer participant other participant. Right, I could do something like that, and then after I create these, I could do participant 1 dot other participant is participant 2, and I can do participant 2 dot other participant is participant 1. Right. Something weird like that. And what we could do now is whenever we try to send anything, the first thing we check is if, okay, so if amount that I want to change it to is, well, so if not the sending participant, so let's say you are not trying to send anything currently. Do we want to make you a sending participant? Well, we'll have to check. If you're not the sending participant, and if the other participant is the sending participant, then we just return. Right, or maybe we don't just return. No, we don't just return. That won't work. What we need to do is we need to go back and amount to send set value without, oh my word. We need to set it to 0, so we force it to 0. So essentially what we do here is a few things. Okay, first of all, if you are not currently the sending participant, we have to check if the other guy is the sending participant. If he is, we cannot set you as the sending participant, and we just return here. Right. Now, if you are the sending participant, right, here's another thing. If amount is equal to 0. Right, in other words, you're trying to set this to nothing, right? What we have to do then is make sending participant equals false. So you are no longer a sending participant. Don't care about this in that case, and we don't care about this. So if the amount is equal to, well, I guess we don't have to worry about this then. Actually, yeah, so it'll do that automatically. So if we change this value, if the amount is greater than 0, it'll set you to the sending participant, or it will keep setting you to a sending participant. Otherwise, it'll just make it false. So that just works out. Okay, and it won't try to do this if the other participant is a sending participant. I think that's all I need to do, really. Shall we give it a go? I guess. If this works, I'd be very surprised and delighted. Well, let's give it a shot, shall we? Okay, so first of all, we need to build a logistics hub, otherwise, yeah, we can't transfer cargo. Okay, so let's see this in action. Oh yeah, I need to fix the zoom thing. I forgot about that. Okay, but anyway, I think the only place we could really try this is with volatile matter. Let's try. So okay, I tried to send 200. Now if I click here, yeah, it doesn't actually do anything. If I take this back down to 0, now I can click here, and now this one cannot. Okay, well that's perfect. Look at that. Now the other thing is, can I send more of a thing that I have? So let's try. Let's see if I can go past 980. I cannot. So I somehow did something. Would you look at that? Okay, now what would be interesting to see is Let's unanchor Vulcan. Let's get Vulcan mining. Is that the easiest way to spend resources now continuously? Probably. Let's see. Okay, if we anchor here, we should start mining. So things are going down and other things are going up. Okay, so let's do a... Okay, interesting. An item with the same key has already been added. Okay, interesting. So try to re-add these, which probably means when it closed, it didn't clear correctly. Okay, so when you clear a dictionary, does it also... What does that actually do? So when you clear a dictionary in C#, does it remove the values only and keep the keys? And how can I remove the keys as well, if that is the case? It's such a nice thing to do. Okay. It says it removes everything. Okay, so a dictionary should be cleared entirely for C#. Now, why then? I'm assuming it didn't clear for some reason, and now I tried to add it twice. Right, it is this dictionary that I'm... Yeah, we go through this list once, so it must be the case that it's still remembering something, or while it was doing this, it got an argument, or it got one of these, which updates table row. You see, now I check if it contains the keys, and then I just update cargo amounts. I don't do... why? Okay, so what I'm assuming happened here is when I clicked on the structure... Because I clicked on Vulcan, it does replace root. Right? And I'm assuming it didn't close. No, it did close. So it would have gone through the whole history and close all of them. So we can check this as well by simply doing something like... So this does a back, and then we listen to the on close, which clears it, right? So let's do debug.log. And let's just do on closed for cargo transfer panel. Right, just something like that. So I can see that this is being called, and that means the cargo transfer rows would have been cleared. Okay, so let's try. Okay, so Vulkan first of all needs to build construction, build logistics hub. Okay, now we can do a transfer cargo. Okay, let's just close on closed for cargo. Okay, and then we do transfer cargo again. Okay, so that works fine. Let's transfer some fusion cells. Still the unclosed tab. We transfer cargo, and let's imagine I click on Vulkan. I click there. Okay, so that still happened. Transfer cargo. Okay, so everything seems to be closing correctly. I wonder why. Okay, let's go over here. So what's happening now is things are changing continuously, right? So if I anchor Vulkan, and now I have a continuous tick of resource changing. I do transfer cargo now. Okay, so now it failed again on heavy elements. Advanced ceramics. Okay, keeps failing on advanced ceramics. Oh, that's just because it's the first thing. Yeah, okay. Okay, so something happens. And I can only assume okay, so maybe we should just check, right? If when we adding the rows, maybe we should check something first. Let's do so what we could do is we could do if cargo transfer rows dot contains key, right, and we can do definition so dot id, right? So if for some reason there's already something in there, right, we can just do cargo transfer rows. We can grab it with our definition so.id. And then we can do initialize. Right, and we give it the definition so our amounts. Okay, now the next problem is if it contains the key, does it already exist in our scroll view? So if, you see now this is, so we could check, I guess. So we could check like this, right? We could just ask it, do you actually have this child? Okay, let's ask it if it does not have the child. Then we add the child. Right, let's fix this a little bit. We can do var row equals Let's do existing row. Okay, then we can just initialize the row, and we could just, instead of doing all this, we could just stick an existing row. Something like that. Oh my word, okay. Yeah, so we can do, okay, if we have the key for this definition IO, I guess we should also check if our existing thing actually returns null. Okay, if existing row not equal null. Now, actually, if it is null, then I actually want to create a new row. Okay, so we're doing a bunch of things here. So we're checking, do we have the key? If we have the key, do we have the row, actually? If the row, for some reason, is not there, well, create one. Okay, initialize it, then check if the scroll view actually has this row now. If it doesn't, add it. Right, so we're doing all of these things, essentially. But we're just checking a bunch of stuff. If we don't even have the key, we don't care. We just go and we do all of this. Okay, I hope that works out. Let's see. I'm assuming it's happening here. But like, I do check if I have it, right? If it contains the key resource. Yeah, that's a weird one. This. Okay, well, let's try again. Okay, so we've identified when this happens. Obviously, it happens 100% when you start mining something. So when the cargo is changing actively, the moment you try to open up this menu. Okay, so let's just build a logistics hub again. Okay, transfer cargo. Okay, no problems there. So I can still do this. I can do this. Okay, accept transfer, and we can look at the logistics hub, and it got some material. Okay, great stuff. Okay, let's unanchor. Let's move over here so that Vulcan can start mining. Okay, mining has commenced. Anchor Vulcan, and then we open up trade. Transfer cargo. Okay. Worked out. And these numbers are updating. Fantastic. Okay, now I'm very interested to see. Okay, some of my things are not here. Oh, okay, volatile. Okay, since the things that are updating, okay, it adds them to the top. Yeah, the materials that are changing is getting added to the top. Okay. So 10,000, let's do 11,000. Oh wait, I can't. Okay, transfer cargo again. Okay, 9,000. Okay, quickly Vulcan, use some of your materials. I want to see this go down. It's going down so slowly. Well, no, it's going down at 2.5 seconds. It should. It should update this. Ah, okay, there we go. It is. And I transferred everything. Okay, so we have another slight issue. So a lot of the stuff works as intended, except for the order. Yeah, so the rows are not being created in the correct order. Yeah, that's kind of annoying. Okay, so we have an index for these resources, so we can use the index to get them into the correct rows originally. But part of the problem is this. When we update them and all this, like there's many other ways that they can get shifted to the front. Unless we clear... Yeah, the only thing I could think of is if instead of just adding something to the scroll view, yeah, so we never do this, right? We just say, okay, add it to a temporary list that is sorted in a way. Or we just add it to cargo transfer rows. So what I'm thinking is maybe something like this, right? Okay, so we know it contains the key. Okay, and by here we would know. Oh wait, we would also have to do, if it's null, yeah, we do this, but we'd also have to set the reference. Like that, right? So we get our existing row. If it's null, we create a new one and we set it like that. Okay. So here's what I'm thinking. Yeah, so all of this needs to be created. This is so flippin' frustrating now. So what I want to do is add elements in order, right? And essentially what I want to do is something like, I want to get my cargo transfer rows dot values, right? And then I want to do dot order by Okay, this is going to be row. I think it's got an index. Okay, what is it actually? Okay, wait. A cargo transfer row. It's got a definition SO. This. If we want to order this. We'd have to give it an index. I wonder if we could just, when you create these rows, we just give it an index, right? And then, yeah, okay, so we get the definition SO. Okay, this is going to be a resource definition. Resource definitions have an index. Right, but now the one problem is I have to get this is going to be resource definition. There's a better way of doing this that I did before, but I can't remember now. Where I did something like this. Where the hell was that? It was. Yeah, I have no idea. It might have been with logistics somewhere. I don't know if it was the logistics manager or it's very similar to what I'm currently doing. We get the type, we check that it is a resource definition. Yeah, I mean, okay, whatever, let's just do that. Okay, so then resource definition SO. There's a way. Yeah, I don't remember now. You know what? This is the perfect situation when you can't remember. Ask ChatGPT. Because I've done this before, but I completely forgot how this works. So let's see what it says. Okay, so I'm trying to find. I have a scriptable object, a definition SO. I want to access a particular property of a resource definition SO. Now I know this definition is a resource definition. So I could do something like just cast it to the type of a resource definition and then access that property, since I know it is a resource definition. But I feel like there's a better way of handling this. I could also just put a if statement just to check, like a get type equals type of kind of thing. Just as a guard, if for some reason it wasn't a resource definition. But I think that there's a more elegant way of getting the type or using the type differently. Let's see what it says. There's a way of doing this elegantly, I remember, but maybe I'm just... Oh, okay. That's right. If SO is resource definition SO, then we can just give it a new name. So that's like the shorthand. So that basically does some of the things I want. So it checks if it's a resource definition, and it now gives me a strongly typed variable inside of this specific block. Okay. So I like this. So now we can do resource.index, right? Yes. Yes, we can. Okay, fantastic. So we can do index equals resource.index. Okay. Okay, fine. So now each of my rows have an index. Which is exactly what I wanted. Because now I can do rows by index, right? I can order my values by index. I can do .toList if I wanted to, which maybe I do. Okay, add elements in order. Okay, so we can call this a list of cargo transfer row, ordered rows equals that stuff. All right. So we get all the values, we order them by index, and we say to list. And then what we can do is for each of these, we want to do table scroll view.add row. Okay, and now what we want to do is, instead of adding it here, get rid of that. So we clear it when we clear it, and we add them like here. Now, I kind of want to do clear every time we try this. Just for the table, the scroll view itself, right? We're not creating or destroying the elements, but we are clearing when we want to add all the elements in order. And now what we can do is we can do here, we can do view.add elements in order. So essentially we try add the rows, right? So we add a row, all this good stuff. So we make sure our dictionary is complete, and then we add an element in order. Okay, now another way this could happen is obviously when we update the table rows, technically, sometimes it'll try and add a row if it sees that we actually don't have a row yet and the amount became greater than 0. That's kind of tricky to see. But let's imagine this happens and we see the amount. So then we do try add 1 row. Now I definitely don't want to do this every time I add 1 row. But after I've added the row, and I know this is, something I did, I guess then I could do add elements in order, because it clears the elements and adds the new ones. It's actually the same elements, it just removes them and adds them again. But it orders them every time. Make sure it's in the correct order. Yeah, I can access the elements using my dictionary still, but this is effectively a new list of rows. Yeah. A new list of rows. Amazing how much work small tweaks can be. Okay, so let's do construction, logistics hub. Transfer cargo. Fantastic. Look at that, nice ordered. So it's now the same order as everything up there. Yes. Perfect. Okay, so part of my problem now is I obviously have all the materials here available. So what I should do is I should give it like all of something. Let's add everything there except transfer. So now I have 0. Right, and if I take Vulcan and I do an unanchor. Let's fly far away so that I can test this properly. Okay, we're going to go all the way over there. Okay, so this thing now has 1,000 heavy elements. Vulcan has 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just manage exports. And I'm going to tell this thing you can export heavy elements. Keep 100. Except, okay, make sure it's not paused. Okay, so I'm going to try and simulate a shipment coming into Vulcan. Okay, but I don't. Okay, we can speed up time. So what I'll do, construction here. Okay, anchor first. Get a logistics hub. Now, if I transfer cargo, we shouldn't see heavy elements, and we don't, right? Because we don't actually have any heavy elements. Okay. So what I'm going to do, logistics, import, add new import. I'm going to ask for heavy elements, 500 of it. Right, and I should see ships going out, going to pick up the heavy elements. Okay, so now this is the idea. We open our transfer menu and we wait. They're going to come back with my material, but it might take a while. Let's just see how slow they are. They're pretty slow. Okay, we're expecting heavy elements to slot in right below volatile matter, right? Okay, let's just make our game run faster. Okay, just 2 times speed is probably fine. Okay, let's Let's see this happen. They're coming in. It's like, oh, I don't have any heavy elements to give you. Sorry, my man. And then I've got 500 in the right place. Fantastic. Fantastic. Cancel transfer. Okay. I now believe that there's literally nothing wrong with my UI anymore. I think I've fixed everything. Great stuff. That does it. I think so. Let's just go here. So max allowed transfer, disabled zoom. Oh, yeah, okay, that's the one thing. When the storage is open, the zoom thing is weird. Okay, so let's go check my camera manager and see if I can't figure this one out. Camera manager. Okay. So I know technically, and currently how I do this with the zoom is kind of barbaric. I essentially find my mouse position, right, and a screen multiplier. So it depends. The mouse position is not always what it seems, right? I know where my panels are, so I hard-coded this in there. Now, there is technically a way to see whether your mouse is actually over a piece of UI, but I just can't get it to work for some reason. Yeah. Well, let's ask ChatGPT. Let's see if it can come up with the solution. I've asked it before and it came up with nothing. Okay, so I want to make it so that when your mouse is over, on top of a piece of UI, I'm using UI Toolkit, I want to know when that happens, right? Essentially, that's all. If I know that it happens, or I can check if it's the case, I want to use that information to enable certain inputs or disable certain inputs, particularly zoom, because some of my some of my menus have scroll bars, and I want to scroll with the mouse. Currently, what's happening is I'm zooming in and out. I'm also scrolling, but I'm zooming, which is bad. Yeah, okay, so this is the thing. I've tried this before and it doesn't really work. Okay, so here's the idea, right? You go here somewhere. Public boolean mouse on UI, right? We could just do something like that. So this is the idea. We could give it the mouse position if we wanted to. From my camera manager. You know what, I'm going to try something different. Let's put this in on my persistent panel, but my UI manager. And we'll just, you know, mouse on UI, right? And we can essentially just get the mouse position using this, right? Okay. Then what we can do is we need to get the yeah, you see, this is now the stupid thing. We need to get a vector to panel position. And I don't know if this is actually going to work. But anyway, panel position, we need to runtime. Panel utilities. Dot screen to panel. Okay, now I need to give it a panel. And I need to give it the root panel. Essentially from my persistent panel view, right? So this root over here. Okay, so we can do persistent panel view dot root. Right, that's my panel. Dot panel. Okay. And we give it the mouse screen. Okay, mouse screen position. Okay. Okay, then we can do visual element equals root. You see now. This is now that root. Dot panel dot pick. And we use the panel position. A return element not equal to null. So if it's not equal to null, it's just true. If it is null, well, then obviously it's false. So we're not on UI. And now technically what I could do is I could just do camera manager. And you know what, before we do any of this, we could just do if UI manager dot instance dot mouse on UI return. Right, we could even, you know what, let's just debug.log here. Mouse must be over some UI. Okay, simple, straightforward. Let's... now, I'm pretty sure this is not going to work. I've tried something very similar to this before. Something here messes up. I remember it not being... the positioning or something was completely buggered. It kept thinking... I think it was like flipped vertically or something. Okay, but let's see. We can only try. We can only try. Could do that as well. Okay, let's see if this works. So if I go here, mouse must be over some UI. Oh. Okay, but there it is not. Okay, wait, I have a different idea. Okay, so it works on the side. It doesn't work with the top. Okay, wait. I should have opened a thing as well. Yeah, okay, this also... I just want to see if I open my transfer window, does it actually work? Don't know why I forgot to check that one. So let's try this again. Construction, logistics hub. And then I should be able to do this. It actually says mouse must be over some UI. That's so stupid. It literally tells me that. Oh, wait, I didn't return. Whoopsie. Okay, my bad. I should also take these two out to see if it really works, right? Yeah. Because those two might make it seem like it's working. Okay, Vulcan, build me a logistics hub so we can do some transferring of cargoes. Okay, it picks this up fine. Okay, so that works. That works okay. Okay, let's see here. So this is my problem. This top bit that just doesn't work. I think the side works. Yeah, look, the side is fine. If we go back and we do logistics, manage imports. Yeah, look, this is fine. And it's registering. Oh, hey, look, there's mouse must be over UI. But it doesn't work with the top. Which is bizarre. I don't understand it, I tell you. I don't think there's something weird about the top bar. Like this whole thing. Its picking mode is correct. So I don't know what the hell is happening. The root container itself isn't, right? So the top bar is, and then the side bar is, right? That's the side bar. The pop-up holder itself. Its picking mode should be ignore. The pop-ups you cannot ignore, right? Yeah. Huh. Yeah, it's interesting, bizarre, weird, I don't know. The other thing we could do, let's see, what else is it? Okay, it's also saying we can just have a Boolean mouse over UI somewhere. And then we can register a callback every time the pointer enters or leaves specific panels. I guess that's another way of doing it, right? We could do top bar, side bar, Not the pop-up holder, but maybe the pop-ups themselves. Yeah, or I could just do it with all scroll views. Whenever I have a scroll view somewhere, it fires an event. Okay, but that kind of an event is kind of annoying. Well, okay, no, wait, I think I know what they mean. Okay, let's try that. That could be fine. So what we could do is I could have a public boolean here, mouse over it's not a scroll view specifically. I think I'm gonna do mouse over UI, right? And this is gonna be, yeah. So let's get rid of this. Here's what I'm gonna try and do this time. Okay, so mouse over UI. And then what I'm gonna do is anywhere I feel like I want the mouse to not allow zooming, okay, so what we can do is mouse over UI. Right, we can just get that value. Mouse must be over something. But now the setting of this value, now that's where it gets interesting. So my persistent panel view, for instance, I don't have my top or sidebar, but I could get them. Yeah, actually kind of like I do here. So what we could do, register, what is this register? Register callback. Pointer enter event. Right, we don't actually care about the event itself, but what we can do is we can do UI manager.instance.mouse over UI. Stuff's getting too long. Now we can just set it equal to true. Right? Then we can do this again, but for the sidebar. Whoops. Okay, so let's do pointer exit event or leave event. We do that one false. Okay, so that's the top bar. Okay, and then we do pointer leave event for the sidebar as well. Let me set it to false. Okay, then our cargo transfer panel view. Now we can do a similar thing. Root container dot register callback pointer enter event. Yeah. Underscore UI manager.instance.mouse over UI equals true. And then pointer leave event. False. Okay. Something like that. And I kind of want it for my other pop-up as well. Vulkan travel panel view. Okay, wait, no, that's what I call it, yeah. Yeah, so right here, we can also just do a quick... Same thing, right? So now the pop-ups are sorted, the top panel and the side panel are sorted. They should now register that there's something in there. And my camera manager is checking the same thing. Okay, let's see if this actually works. Okay, do I use my screen multiplier at all here? No, I don't. At least not there. I use something similar in here. Okay, well, let's test this. Let's test and hope for the best. Okay, first of all, nothing happens there. Oh, it's actually picking up this little extension as well. Okay. That is good. That is good. I'm not going to lie. Okay, construction. Let's build the logistics hub. Transfer. Okay, this seems like a good... Okay, we can unanchor and we can't zoom there. We can only zoom here. Which feels... good. I like that. And if this is up, I can't zoom here. Okay, but I can still zoom here. Yeah, that feels so much better. Okay, so we fixed. I think we finally did it. Everything has been fixinated. Damn. Okay, let's go to our to-do list. Yeah, so this is now all done. The only thing I need to do now is regional resource sharing. Now, this is going to be a particularly difficult, right? Because the issue here is yeah, we need to think about this. The manual loading and unloading could be the way I solve this problem in this case. There's one thing that I'm thinking could be an argument for this, and that is the modules that get sent by the courier. Right, if you are inside the region and you are anchored, I don't actually want the modules to be sent with the courier. I kind of just want them to teleport over, right? So what we could do is we could check how modules are being added currently, right? So if we go to node, yeah, this is quite a thing, right? The node panel view and view model. Let's open those two. So here, okay, add module on selected change. Don't know what that means. Okay, add existing modules. Career job. Oh, okay, yes, this is exactly actually the one we want. So we do view model, request module shipment, right? So request a module shipment. That's what we do. And we go here, we go Try request module shipment. Okay, fine. So there might be a failure message, but let's go check what happens on the node itself. Try request module shipment. So we get an ID and a failure message, which we don't really use. Okay, but let's see. Module size. Okay, so we just get the size of the module. That's fine. And then we can add module size. Okay, that's not a problem. So if structure.getType equals Vulkan. Okay, that's just essentially a way of checking or getting to our... Now, why is Vulkan important here? Oh, it's just because getting to the logistics node is annoying. Okay. Yeah, if it's an outpost, the logistics node is on the hub. If it's just a hub, then we just basically just use that instead. Okay, yeah, because a hub could ask for power, for instance, in the future or something. Okay, so create module shipment in the courier network. This might be... Maybe we go there. Create module shipment, and let's see. So we give it a module, a requester, and a destination. Okay. Yeah, what I should technically do here is instead of creating the shipment, I should check if our... No, wait a minute. Yeah, no, wait. So we have the destination. Okay, let's see. Get a logistics node with the required modules. So we get a list of temp nodes. We get the best node is the first node. Shortest distance. Okay. Man, didn't I already do this? Okay, I'm just thinking now. So create module shipment. At some point, I should be checking if the origin and destination are effectively the same thing. It won't be the same as the requester, but the origin and destination could be the same. Okay, add to the queue, but yeah, we should have a way to check if... Yeah, once we get here, we should just have a way to check. Yeah, we do the load and depart. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna get me some coffee, and then I can come think about this some more. But I think I can do this in a fairly straightforward way. So I'm gonna try that. But yeah. let's get a refill on that coffee before I think too hard about this. I'll be back. Like that. I'm back. And the sun is shining. Yes, like, look how bright the one side of my face is now. Okay. So now we need to decide. Okay, so there's two ways of doing this. We can check if when we are evaluating our couriers, right? So inside the courier network, inside this thing, we get our best courier, assign couriers to job. But even before that, when we create the jobs, we can check if destination and origin is the same place. Right, but we can actually do it a little bit more. We can check if distance is 0. And what I mean by that is, if currently what it will do is it will send a courier, spend fuel, and effectively, the area, the fuel will be gone, and you won't actually travel any distance, right? Because it's picking up, for instance, that Vulcan and the logistics hub are in the same region, so it will get that Vulcan is the best possible choice for that logistics request. However, it'll then go, cool, let's get it from Vulcan, and then Vulcan will send it, and it will travel 0 distance and spend all the fuel anyway. So what we need to do is we need to check not only if the origin and destination are the same place, but we actually need to check that the distance is nothing to be able to send this. Right. Okay, but before I do that, I want to just test this and see actually how it breaks. Because I haven't actually done that quite often. Because since I was trying to test my logistics, I kept flying away because I wanted to see the ships fly up and down. Let's try a couple of things here. Right, so the first thing is, let's just produce a couple of modules. We'll just make some surface extraction modules. Maybe we'll make some solar, whatever. Even do this at a slightly higher speed. Okay. Now what we can also do, let's construct a logistics hub, because we need that to be able to start sending anything. Okay, here we go. And okay, so we need extraction nodes. No, construction. We need to build the extraction nodes. Right, that's right. We are currently here, and we are building extraction nodes. Okay, so it's got an extraction node. Now, what I want to do, I want to unanchor Vulcan from this position, and I just want to move towards like there. Okay, then we're going to go slow again. Okay, so Vulcan is not using fuel, but now, when I request a ship, I wonder if I can make my game speed very slow. Okay, so there's a couple of things. Since Vulcan is not anchored, its logistics is not being shared. That's a little iffy. I don't know. Let's anchor it. Oh, it's anchoring at very slow speed. Okay. So if I go extraction, I can see the extraction module. Okay, it's cool. So I'm going to order an extraction module, but I want to quickly go to the solar system view and see. Okay, I virtually didn't see anything. Okay, fine. Okay, but we can see Vulcan didn't use any resources. How much resources do one of these ships use? I think I nerfed it significantly, but small courier uses 5. Okay, so we can't see it on Vulcan because, yeah, Vulcan just has too much resources. But we can see that it had to be refueled when it reached the logistics hub. So there was a courier sent between Vulcan and the logistics hub. Okay. So we could actually, let's stop this and let's make them use significantly more fuel so I can actually see the value. Let's just say it uses 500, right? Which is ridiculous in this scenario, but let's just see. Okay, and I'm actually going to test. No, we need to select something. Okay, so if I go to extraction, I can see this. Vulcan is anchored. Now, if I unanchor Vulcan, this is now what I'm wondering. Extraction. I can't see this. This feels a little bit dumb. Right? Maybe. I don't know. I need to think about that. But anyway, let's anchor Vulcan again. And let's send myself a surface extraction module. So let's see if it sends a courier that needs to be refilled once it's installed the module. It does. Okay, so that's bad. But that's basically what I want to do. So Vulcan literally sent it to itself, and it cost fuel. Now the courier didn't actually move, right? It just blew some fuel into the vacuum of space for some reason. Okay, so let's get that fixed. So I think this is the correct place to do this. I don't even know if it should be a courier job, to be honest. Right. Actually, I think it shouldn't be a courier job. The request can come in through the courier network, and we can use the network to find a supplier. But we do not actually create the courier job and add it to the queue. We just simply get the thing there. So, closest logistics node. So this is basically what we do here. We have the best node, and we need to check for these two things. Right? So now let's see. If shortest distance is equal to 0, right? Or let's say it's a very small number, less than or equal to 0.1. Right, I don't think there's anything in space that is that close to one another. Maybe there is. So we can make it something like that, an AU distance. We could check out database as well. Go through our regions. Oh, okay, some of them might actually get pretty close. Like if I have the Sun orbit and Mercury, I could accidentally make those a bit close. But it's more than 0.1 always. Yeah, okay, so we could let's do 0.05. Okay, anyway, if our distance is less than that, that means these things are very close. So now two things could have happened. Either our node is actually our best node is, so we could check that if best node is equal to the destination, best node dot node, Okay, so if our base node is our destination node, then we just need to install module directly. And essentially we do not then create a courier job. We do not add any of this stuff. And we return. Okay, and then if best node is not equal to destination, but is equal to Vulkan dot, no, this would be game dot Vulkan dot logistics node. It simply means then, okay, we are very close to where we need to be. So Vulkan itself is in the vicinity. And then we can also just do install module direct. Okay, so what does that actually mean? Okay. So currently, yeah, we have this job that we create. We set a tracking status we in queue. So let's go to the node and see when does it actually get the job in. Just want to get to the node itself. Could I do that? Okay, we request the module shipment. That's fine. We don't care about that. We do not really care about that. Yeah, because none of this stuff means anything. So we could just do try add module to the requester immediately. Okay, so we would try to request. Right, so that happens. We create a module shipment. But we break out and then we can do requester dot try add module. And we give it the best node dot module. Right, and we'll have to do something similar here. Now, the only question is there anything else I need to think about? We don't create a courier job, so we don't have to clean that up. We don't have tracking, we don't queue it, we don't have this tracking status. We don't have to add a courier job to the requester, we could just add the module directly. I guess we should check this load. Okay, yeah, so this is maybe the problem we have here. We're not removing the item from storage. Okay, so we should do that at least. Okay, yeah, so what we should do is best node.node.storage .remove item, and we do best node.module. Okay, we could probably have here a private void install module direct monthly if we really want to do. You know what? I don't really want to. So we remove the item. We add the item. We can also do if try add module worked, then only do we actually remove the item from storage, right? Yeah, I feel like that's even better. And we can do or. And you can get rid of this. Okay, but we do not create a courier shipment. Okay, so this is checking if we are very close. Okay, and only if we are very close do we try to install it directly, right? First we check if our best node is our destination, or if our best node is actually Vulkan. Either or doesn't really matter. We could just... let's test it. Yo, Bobzar. Quite the project. It is quite the project currently, eh? I started this one at the start of the year. You can maybe use epsilon from single instead of 0.05. Oh. What does that actually mean? Oh, it's just a very small number. I actually don't want it to be a very small number. And there is a situation. Oh, no. I do want it to be a very small number. You're right. Epsilon. I've never actually used that before. So that's just a very small number. Instead of comparing it to 0, for instance, because it might not ever be. Yeah. Hey, fuel snable. Smallest number that is not a 0. Yes. But what if the distance is bigger than this number, but still very small? That's fine. Okay, let's try it. I don't know how floating point arithmetic works and the drift and all that stuff. So I don't know how bad this could actually be. Shortest distance. Could you get the AU distance? So this is just basically the absolute value between two floats. It should be... Yeah, it shouldn't be that bad. I mean, those values are just one of these numbers, right? Where, yes. These are all, like, if I have, yeah, no, this should be okay. Yes. Okay, let's give it a go. Let's see if this works. Let's give it a try. If this works, then I'm kind of done, I think. I don't know. Okay, so first of all, let's produce a couple of mining modules. Why not? Get some mining modules going here. Okay, then if I go to extraction and I see, oh, there's a mining module. Let's install it. It should just install directly without using any fuel. It doesn't. Damn it, man. Okay, so something is broken here. Wait, let's go back. Okay, so it did install. Okay, the UI didn't update. So they are installing. I guess there's some kind of a UI listening thing happening here that's not happening, right? Okay. That shouldn't be too hard to solve. Let's go find it. So if I am not mistaken, the view model probably listens to courier shipment receives. Yes. And then it says view add existing module. Yes. Okay. So I don't know if we should be listening to on courier shipment received really. Do we just use it for that specific case? It appears so. Okay. So actually what I think we should be doing then is maybe on courier shipment received, we do try add module, remove the courier jobs. Okay, so we could invoke this. We could also even change this to on module added instead, right? I feel like that's better. Yeah, and then we just do this and we give it the module directly. There might have been other things listening to this. But no, this should be fine. Yeah, on module added. So then we can just go here. I don't think actually I need to change anything in my view model. Except maybe for the shipment received. I can rename this. On module added. Righto. On module added then, I guess, it's fine. So now the UI should at least get that signal to update as soon as the module is added. Okay, let's give it a go. Okay, let's go build our mining module. I actually want to do some construction here as well while we wait. I should have built more than one mining module. Let's build some refineries, why not? Okay, construction, build an outpost. Okay, let's go in here. Let's unanchor. Move over there. Ooh. Null reference, that's a new one. That was a UI error. Okay, I'm not sure what the problem was exactly. I forgot to build a node. Okay, well this is gonna be pointless. Unless I can produce some power then. Solar array. Okay, but anyway, let's try and add our processing, I guess. Okay, so Vulkan. Boop. Boop. There we go. Processing added. No problem. No fuel spent. Okay, you there. You want some solar? Get some solar. Okay, we get the solar immediately. No fuel's being spent. Nothing is being flown around. We've done it. So essentially now, if Vulcan is inside a region and it's anchored, we can transfer things. Now, when it's not anchored, obviously Vulcan is not very good at transferring modules. Okay, so I think I like this. So now the idea would be you can anchor, and any courier-related transferring will happen auto-magically. But we keep our resources separate so that you would have to go and do a manual cargo transfer. Which, I mean, it's not that bad, right? You just come in and you're like, okay, well, let's put like 500 fuel in there and let's leave behind our fuel. Volatile matter, let's leave behind like 10 of that, 10 of that, 10 of that, 10 of that. Accept transfer. We check the logistics node. It's got, yeah, all the resources that I sent. I couldn't find the numbers. So yeah, that seems fine. Okay. That was actually not half as bad as I was fearing it could be. Let's go to our to-do list. Okay, so decide regional resource sharing. So I did that. So how it works is, let's just note it for ourselves. So resources are to be transferred using cargo transfer system. Items or things that can be couriered are delivered instantly without using a courier. That is essentially what I've done. And I think I'm happy with that. So, you're talking about floating points? You don't think Machine Epsilon? Okay. Well, I mean, honestly, to me, even just a 0.01 is as useful in my situation currently. I don't know what Machine Epsilon is versus... whatever. Oh, you mean system, I suppose. Hey, this gets... Yeah. That's fine. It's fine. Right. We know that we could take... Now, we can't compare it to 0 directly, right? Because it's a... It is, in fact, floating point arithmetic. Yeah, let's just keep it to that one, right? Good old-fashioned 0.01f. Can't go wrong. Okay, I think I'm happy with this. So, I've done everything I said I need to do before I start working on my first devlog. Wow. Did not think this day would come. Okay, so there's a couple of things that I still feel like I would like to tweak. Okay. Yeah, it's just a super tiny number. epsilon is around 1.19 times 10 to the negative 7. You're saying machine epsilon, and then you're comparing that to a .NET epsilon. Well, not that it maybe exists, but yeah, it's okay. Okay, so some of the things that still bug me, and I guess I could show it off. Let's go and have a look. It's tiny things that just feel bad when you play the game. So I think I just need to make my courier not use 1 million fuel anymore. I just did that so I could see. So there's massive balance problems for a start. That's a problem. Which kind of means the game is pretty unplayable. But I mean, from a systems perspective, it's playable enough for me to, do a little devlog. But yeah, it's definitely not playable enough to actually have somebody play it. What we could do, so let's try this. Let's set up a little bit of a game state here, and it would be nice if I had some way to do this that's not as slow. But let's just put the game on like 50 times multiplier here, so that I can do things quick. Right? Instant construction. Build some nodes. I think they built. Yes, they did build. Construction. Let's build a processing node as well. Let's go back. Let's unanchor. Okay, let's go back to our solar system view. We could, you know what? Let's go exploit Mercury. I'm just going around setting up. Okay, anchor. Do all that. Mercury is going to be pretty good at just extraction. So let's just do all the extraction stuff. Unanchor. Let's go to Venus. Venus is a pretty good fuel depot for early game. So let's anchor Vulcan again. Let's build some logistics and a bunch of extraction. And then we can go to Mars. Just so we have... okay, Mars is going to be a little bit awkward. You know what? We'll just... yeah, because I never implemented Mars. So if you go to Mars, there's nothing there. Can you believe it? Like, the one planet you would think I implemented apart from Earth would probably be Mars. But no. I have a Venus. I have a Mercury. I even have a Jupiter. With all its moons. But I don't have a Mars. So, sorry Mars. But we'll anchor Vulcan so Vulcan can chill here. And what we'll do is let's set some things up, right? So first of all, let's just ask Vulcan to produce a few things for us. So we'll need some deep extraction. And let's make like 3 of those. We'll need some surface extraction. We'll need volatile extraction for sure, because we're going to need fuel. Let's just produce fusion power cells or fusion power plants, because they are, easy or very powerful. And I don't want to make 10 power stations. Refinery, we can do some precision processing. Ah, damn. I accidentally used all my fuel. Okay, that's a problem. How did this happen? Oh, I anchored at a place where I could mine. Ah, shit. And because I'm going at 50x, I didn't even notice, but I mined 239k metallic ore and silicate ore somewhere when I wasn't paying attention. Ah, shit, man. Okay, let's just do a little bit more precision processing modules. I think I have some of those. Okay, so we'll have to figure out a way. Now, the problem with this is all the ships are currently stuck on Vulcan. So we'll have to move Vulcan using a different fuel type. Right? Industrial chemicals, as an example. So we'll move over to Venus. And then, you know, we can make Venus... We'll transfer some of Venus's fuel and then immediately ask Venus to start mining new fuel. We can fix this. We can fix this. Okay, Vulcan is here. Let's anchor. We should maybe switch off the extraction for Vulcan. Not that I can. This is another small bug that I need to fix. Okay, but anyway. Here we go. Cargo transfer. So please, Venus, you know what? I'm going to make the game speed very slow because otherwise I'm just going to blow through all my fuel again. Venus, just send me like half of your fuel so we can just get started here. Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to go extraction stop. Okay, just unanchor. Fly over here. You can anchor over there for now. Okay, so we can't mine here. There's nothing to mine. Okay, but here we go. We need a power module, so we'll get a fusion power. Extraction. Okay. This is also bad. We'll do volatile, because I think Venus has quite a bit of volatiles available. Okay, so we get 4 volatile extraction modules, and we can see that we can slow down the game because we are currently we're mining at a ridiculous rate already, and at 50x. By the time I set up all the requests and things, it's going to be quite ridiculous. Okay, so that's Venus set. Let's go check out Mercury. So we have a couple of extractions. So we want deep extraction here for sure. And then we want surface extraction. Let's put another deep extraction. We have a couple of extraction modules. I'm actually not even showing the... Wait a minute. A courier was sent. Yes. Couriers were being sent. They were just very fast. Probably because I'm very close, right? Yeah. Okay, anyway. Okay, so we don't have power, so none of this is working. So as soon as I add the power module, fusion, whoop, okay, we got our fusion power. Now we should be burning through our fuel because we are busy mining, which is the case. So all we have to do now is we have to manage exports here. We'll tell this thing you can export volatile matter, just keep like 5,000 around. Okay, and you want to import volatile matter as your fuel, you need to keep at least 10,000. Okay. So now we can see the ships are going to fly up and down. What is happening with the speed? I did change my game speed back to 1. Okay, anyway, you know what? You can also request logistics, imports, volatile matter. Let's keep you at 10k as well. Unpause that. You know what? Let's transfer cargo. We can do a solid 10,000 transfer here. Yeah, there we go. We can unanchor, We can fly. Oh, jeez. What have I done? I made Vulcan fly. Okay, this is another thing that I was thinking about changing or fixing, is you should be able to redirect Vulcan. Because I started the flight with very little fuel. But now I can't redirect or change. What is this thing? Okay, so it's really not liking something here. Okay, I guess we could... the problem is these things are just gonna mine out this entire planet. So let's switch it off. And then we can switch off Venus as well for a bit. Okay. And then I'll just make the game speed 1,000 so Vulcan can finish its trip. Not bad. Okay, we can anchor Vulcan there. Nothing to do. But okay, what do we want to do here? So we can do some processing. Yeah, why not? Add some refineries. Yeah, so this place can just do some basic refining stuff, and we want to make a little bit of everything. So we'll do 2 advanced ceramics here. We'll do the conductive metals here. Industrial chemicals there. And structural alloys there. Okay, so we don't have any of the things we need for this to actually work. So we need to go logistics, imports, add a few imports. We'll need metallic ores, silicate ores, volatile matter, and heavy elements. All the tier 1 resources go into the tier 2 resources. Go figure. I think I just want to keep like 2,000 of each. Maybe only like 500 of the heavy elements. Okay. Okay, we need to add a power module so that the processing could happen. And now we need to add somebody to the logistics as an exporter. So you can export metallic ores, silicate ores, and heavy elements. You don't really use them, so I don't see a point in keeping amounts that are very high. So we can just do 500, it's fine. These ships are way too fast for my liking. Okay, we are slowly producing, and emphasis on slowly. This is now where the balance starts becoming a problem, right? So we are clearly processing these resources, but we're processing at a rate of 0.4. Which is very slow, like ridiculously slow. So as you can see, the numbers are going up, but this is now where you can kind of tell I've made mining incredibly fast and processing very slow, which feels pretty bad. Because if processing is this slow, you never really catch up to the mining output. Like you can service with one mine. You can essentially produce enough resources for like 70 or something stupid like that refineries. So, that's kind of an issue. Yeah, but it seems like it's working at least. Now, I actually wanted to show something. Just everything happens so quickly, especially in this tight region, right? Ships are very fast. And that's also something I need to change. The ships shouldn't start this quick. They should become faster. So let's just go very slow on the game. And what I'll do is I'll increase the logistics import for one of these to trigger a request for resources. So let's say I want 5,000 of this instead. Okay, so here's my problem. You're going to see ships start moving, but they're going to be very clumped up. And there's a few reasons this happens. First of all, because I'm setting a big amount, there's going to be a big deficit. So it's going to try and fill that deficit fast, right? Which I can appreciate. That's okay. But while it's consuming the resources, it also does something similar. Instead of sending one ship at a time, it can also do this thing where it sends like a big chunk of ships. And that might be because of the way I send the ships. I always try to get a whole group of ships and then send the whole group. I do that every 5 seconds. Now I could change it to do it every 1 second, then the size of the group might be smaller. Or I could force it to only send one ship at a time and have a little delay between. You know, that's some of my options. Okay, but let's accept the amount, and then we'll see. As soon as there's a tick, oh yeah, we're going very slowly with game speed. But as soon as there's a tick for resources to be sent, you'll see what I mean. Let me just make sure there are resources available. Okay, so we want 5,000. Yes. Okay, but it's only gonna happen. Yeah, let's just make the game speed 1. There we go. So you saw the ships were all at this station. Right, because that's the last place they actually did a drop off. Then the game noticed, hey, there's something trying to be exported here. All the ships are over here. Send them over to do the export. Okay. So this clumping is what I don't appreciate. Let's go check it here instead. Because this doesn't look good in my opinion. Obviously, the ships look terrible. But the clumping thing, I'm not a fan of. Now, like I said, the clumping could be acceptable. See, that looks good. One tanker goes, delivers some fuel. Yeah, 2 ships go. Let's go very fast. Yeah, it's still very clumpy, eh? Okay, so I think I know what's causing the clumpy, actually, now that I think about it. So there's the way I do ship relocation. This is kind of dumb, but let's do this. So there are 2 systems at play here. Right, the first one is shipping itself, but then there's also ship relocation. And there are scores associated with shipping things to determine how important they are. The highest score is 30 and the lowest score is 1, and there's a bunch of things in between. It's not linear, it's not like 1, 2, 3, 4, it's like 1, 2, 3, then it goes to 6 and stuff like that. Because it's effectively a priority times an urgency. right? And your urgency is something like 10. No, wait, what is the urgency? Well, actually, let's go check. So this would be in my logistics. Node. Yeah, I really think that could be the problem. Yeah, okay, so urgency is a 1, 3, and 10. So we have 1, 3, 10, and then our priorities are 1, 2, and 3. So the set of scores that you can get from that is obviously a 1, a 2, a 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then another 3, a 6, and a 9. Right, and then you can get 10, 20, 30, essentially. And what I'm doing is I'm only allowing ship relocation to occur in this situation. But now what happens is, as long as your urgency is a 1, or even if your urgency is a 3, but your priority is a 1, ships won't relocate there. And the thing with urgency, the way it's calculated is like this. It checks, normal urgency just basically means, you know, we only have like a 30% shortfall of our demand. Right, now if there are many demands across the solar system, it might look a little bit differently. Right? But there's a 30% shortfall. But now the problem is, if there's a 30% shortfall, right, if only when it reaches above 30%, we try to send something, but it's 30% of, you know, 1,000 or 10,000, then we need to send 3,000 resources. Well, what that means is we have to send, you know, if our ships have a capacity of 100, we have to send 30 ships. Right, but maybe if our urgency, if we had sent it earlier, we could send a smaller amount. Right, so that's kind of the thing. It's because it's this percentage story that I'm doing that this happens. Where technically what I should be doing is I should be doing like something like, okay, we can relocate a ship if there's any demand, potentially. Yeah, so this is the demand over the desired stock. So if our demand is 30%, if our demand is up to 80%, it's urgent. So that's... Yeah, so between 30 and 80%, it's urgent. Above 80%, it's critical. Then it will send a massive amount. Yeah, so my ship relocation priorities versus my shipping priority is kind of the problem. And the reason I did it this way is because I thought to myself, well, you know, the ships are gonna... I don't want a ship to relocate to somewhere because we need 10 extra resources, right? But now my ships aren't relocating enough, I feel like. So let's try forcing ship relocation slightly sooner. Right, so if I go to my logistics network, wherever that might be. Huh? Oh, I'm searching for... So let's try this logistics network, and we can check or look for the relocate ships. So in a couple of places, you'll notice something like if scores less than or equal to 3, continue. So what I'm thinking is, no, we don't actually do that. Right? We actually add those. We consider them. Yeah, but we just need to make sure that okay, we can do this correctly. Okay, idle freighters, etc., etc. Now this is probably gonna break because I can't remember everywhere I checked for the score. This surely, for each score in demand scores. Okay, yeah, so I only check for demand scores. Okay, get remaining blocked demand score. Okay, so this might be another place we check. Yeah, okay, so here's already where we started doing this thing. If score is greater than 3. Yeah, so let's comment this out, and we'll essentially just do this regardless, right? We don't care about the score. Being a certain threshold. Control find. All these score greater than 3s. Just want to see if I got them all. Okay, well. No, I didn't. Okay, so it's fine here now. Do I do greater than 3s anywhere? Let's go look for those because they could be a problem as well. And you know what, we'll do the same thing here. Okay, yeah, so I do it right here already. Okay, no, we don't do that. Okay. This was such a strange approach. And now we don't check for scores greater than 3. We try to fill demands anything below. No. We send ships about. If there are ships available, we anyway do it with the correct priority. We always do the big ones first, so it's not like the priority is going to be wrong. It's just going to look better. Because we're going to send fewer ships, right? We're going to see, oh, there's some demand there, but there's no ships. Let's send something. If we have something, send it. Sometimes the big clumps will happen, and that's essentially only when there's like urgency. So then you'll see more big clumps potentially. I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I think that's all of it. Now I might have broken something in doing this, but let's go give it a test and see if it looks better. I should change the crafting speed or something for my resources. But that's a balancing problem. I really shouldn't be worried about that right now. Okay. We can build logistics. Well, no. Construct a logistics hub. And then we can build an outpost. And let's just do processing here. Okay, so that one is full of processing. We can unanchor. let's go to Mercury. Why not? Yeah, it's quite slow. Production, we should be making a couple of deep extraction modules. 3 of them, and then surface extraction modules. Let's make like 6, and then fusion power 4. We're not going to use that many, but whatever. It's okay. Okay, so let's manage this region. First of all, actually don't want you to be mining, because when I increase the game speed, I can accidentally mine out a whole planet while not paying attention. Okay, but we do want to construct, so we need to anchor first. A logistics hub, an outpost. We make this extraction only. Okay, you can get a fusion reactor. And then we can get you a couple of deep extractions, why not? And then another one. Okay, it's probably going to run out of fuel. It already has, okay. Yes, I did give it power, right? Yes. Okay, great. Okay, Vulcan. Do I want you to transfer fuel right now? I don't think so. I think we need to go to Venus first just to set up a fuel depot. Because otherwise, we're just going to get rid of all our fuel too quickly. We should also make some refineries. So 4... Let's do 6 refineries. And then maybe not a manufacturing module, that won't work. Precision processing, we'll do 2 of those, and then advanced processing 2 of those, right? And we have arrived. Let's construct a logistics hub, an outpost, a bunch of extraction. Oh, that must mean we need to add production volatile matter. Volatile extraction, do 4 of those. Okay, let's go check power, add the fusion. Okay, extraction we'll just do. Okay, there's something wrong with my back button. It doesn't quite do what I need it to do when I select those. I think... Yeah, I'll have to go check it. I think it's my icon selector that's not working correctly. Okay, this thing is producing a lot of fuel very quickly. Look at that. Nice updating. Okay, we'll transfer a bunch of it. Unanchor Vulcan. Okay, let's just... Okay, let's go over here. Because I think I needed to do my processing setup. Oh, yeah, I need to anchor Vulcan. Okay, let's set up my refineries. I really need to make it so that I can set this up quicker. Because this takes too long, right? Okay, we've got a bunch of processing facilities. Let's get a fusion power module here. I actually don't think this thing produces enough power to run all those, which is kind of funny because it's the strongest power module I have, and you can only have one of them. So, you know, go figure. Anyway, okay, so the outpost is trying to do stuff, but it cannot. Okay, we can view solar system, we can unanchor Vulcan. And I think I'm just going to head over here with I don't have enough of that stuff. We'll just do advanced propellants. Should be quite quick. Yes, it's quite quick. We'll anchor here and we'll chill. Right, Vulcan can chill. Let's set up all our imports and exports. Okay, so you definitely need to import volatile matter, at least 5,000. Accept. Okay. In terms of exports, you need to do metallic ore, silicate ore, and heavy metals. You don't care how much you keep, so this is all good. Okay, so it's set up. You are an exporter of fuel, volatile matter. Keep at least 5,000 for yourself because you'll need it. Because it is after all what you use to fuel the ships. Okay, this I expect because we just set a new request and there were a bunch of idle ships, so they're all very in a hurry to make it happen, right? Okay, logistics, imports, add new import. So we'll do 4 imports here. It's going to be metallic ore, silicate ore, volatile matter, heavy elements, and we want 2,500 and 500. Accept. Unpause. Pause. Okay, so let's see what happens. Okay, first we get somebody going over there. There's a big chunk of people realizing that there's a thing happening here now, so they get sorted. Now look how I like this immediately. Let's just manage this region and check, is processing occurring? I have a feeling, I never chose anything to process. Okay. Give me a bunch of this. Okay, and there we go. So now, yeah, okay, it is processing that stuff. And I think I need more of that. I don't think I need as many ceramics. I'm actually not sure. I know I need a lot of fuel. You know what? Let's do that instead. Yeah. Okay. Now I don't know really if I need any of those right now, but I just need it to be a resource sink. Okay, we'll do one of each of these. I guess that's reasonable. Yeah, you know what? Let's do one of each of these as well. So we'll do exotic and fusion cells. And then here we'll do metastable matter and quantum processes. So this place is now producing, everything we need. At some rate. Now, this is the other thing. It might not be very quick. Because, all this processing is terribly slow. And I don't think I have enough power, actually. Yeah, I think half of my processing is just offline. Ah, shit, yeah, that's right. Half of it is offline. I need some feedback for that. The player won't be able to tell. Okay, but what we should see happening now is far fewer clumps, but more regular trips. This looks pretty good, right? And we can see, this one is obviously getting resources from here. This one's a mining station, so it's burning through fuel. So we're getting frequent fuel trips. This looks so much better. We can make it faster just to, get a bit of an idea how things move. Yeah. And we get a fuel trip to there. Goes back because there's more fuel required over there. And now if I go to Vulcan, for instance, and I tell Vulcan, get an import. I don't even know what I have available. Okay, you are pretty much not producing anything because it's just too slow. We don't have power. You have a lot of power, and you are definitely producing stuff. 200,000. You see the problem? Like, I maxed out the processing on this one, and I've generated over 300. I've generated almost 1 million resources. Okay, but anyway, if I now have a logistics request, imports, add new request, and I want metallic ore. Yeah, okay, that's kind of dumb, the 10,000 limit. Okay, so it's going to take 5 seconds or so before it realizes there's a big request. Yeah, but it figured it out, and it's sending it over. So Vulcan should be getting a massive influx of ore. Oh, not really. It already had a bunch. Okay, never mind. And I can only do... Okay. That's a bit dumb. Let's do heavy elements instead. So the heavy element request should be more substantial because we... Now, it should have updated the request, but it seems like they're just ignoring Vulcan's request for heavy elements. I clearly have enough here. You are an exporter. Ah, what's happening now? Okay, it was paused. Okay, yeah. So you get the massive clump. So if you have a big request and you have a massive shortfall, it will absolutely do that. Yeah, so they did their first trip, now they're doing a second trip. I feel like we can still make it a little bit better by limiting maybe the amount of ships you can request at a time or something. I don't know, because that's a little bit funny. Yeah, our fuel is the only thing that's really being consumed at a reasonable rate. Because, yeah, we have 80k, but we haven't ballooned it into the billions yet, whereas our other metals are clearly being flipped and produced at much faster than we can spend it. But that's a small little issue. Okay, so I think what I need to do is I need to do a little bit of balancing, set up a nice scenario of things moving about, you know, get some footage, build a devlog, make millions. Yeah, I might be skipping a few steps there, but I think that's roughly where I'm at right now. I can make a build of the game, I guess. No. There's many problems still, but if I could just balance it a little bit better so that this can look a little bit more satisfying. Because I think the fact that I'm not spending the resources fast enough is kind of hindering, you know, what I can do in terms of this whole demonstration. Now if we go very fast. Oh, interesting. What happened? We still have fuel there. We ran out of fuel. Huh. That's very interesting. So I think we spent the fuel. Okay, you see now this is where this is now a perfect situation where you take Vulcan, you go over here, you anchor, you get transfer cargo. No. We actually don't want this. We want this. 50,000. 10,000 is the max. We accept the transfer. We go over here. Maybe with less fuel. We need to unanchor. We go over here. We go anchor Vulcan, transfer cargo, and we give it. This is wrong. Why is it thinking I'm at the other logistics hub? Okay, we found a bug. It somehow thinks Vulcan is still right here. That's weird. Clearly, Vulcan is there. Clearly. That's very interesting. So if I'm not mistaken, my UI manager kind of gets the signal. So let's see. Vulcan cargo transfer pop-up. So the second participant is current region logistics hub. How did my current region not get updated? That's bizarre. The current region of Vulcan gets updated when? Never, apparently. Oh, this is a structure, not Vulcan. I want to see Vulcan's current region. Vulcan should get updates to its current region, right? I believe it's not start anchoring. I have this anchor in region thing that I call. When I arrive at a region. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I did that. Because I moved and then at some point I got close. And I arrive at region. Huh. That's funny. Current region, target region.au distance. Current AU. Start region is your target region. But we also do anchor in region, which is over here. I guess we can rename this to arrive in region. We set our current region. So why did this not work? Log.info. It might have something to do with the speed and stuff, because I was running at like massively fast speeds. Maybe that breaks something. Not sure. Well, let's check it out. Okay, unanchor Vulcan and move. We'll burn our 500, that's fine. Let's just make the game speed faster. So we arrived at Venus. Arrived at Mercury. Arrive at Mars. 500 game speed. Ah. Oh, no. It did work. Arrive at Earth. It's just grouping these, so if we are not collapsed. That's peculiar. I don't know why that would happen. That was a weird one. Okay, I'll have to watch out for that. So I'll just make a note of this. Bug where Vulcan current region does not update. Correctly. This causes transfer menu to transfer to not transfer menu participant to be the wrong hub. Okay, guys, I think that is where I want to end. So I've done all of this. I want to do a little bit of balancing so I can actually get a good bit of playing done in the game and have things move and resources required everywhere. I also want to do maybe add a few more ships and stuff like that so that I could also have just a bit more activity, perhaps, for the devlog. But then I have to think about what to put in the devlog in general. So I think I'm going to be done for today. And I will say thank you all for joining me today. Let's go raid somebody. And then we are done. Okay, where are the people I follow? Jitspo. Seems like he's also ending his stream. Let's go say hi to Zed. He's playing a game, but it's fine. He's a nice, cool guy. Yeah, we'll go say hi to him. Okay, and I'll do ending stream. There we go. Okay, people. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you next time. Cheers.